For this episode, we went way back to 1975.
Yeah, jumped in the wayback machine.
A golden age of bad movies.
Yes, but also important movies.
Yeah.
A lot of things that happened in the 70s were just very important milestones.
Yes.
Even if they weren't great.
That's very true.
Or good.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah. I mean, there's and we watch them all the time. There's a whole genre of like bad 70s horror, right?
Oh, especially. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Grindhouse was like, top of its game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this isn't a horror.
No, and it's not a Grindhouse.
Right.
And it's not an art film.
Yeah, I think it's the first movie of its particular genre that we have covered.
It is. Absolutely.
Yeah, which is exciting.
Yeah.
Because we've covered a lot of movies.
We have so far.
And I think there's some things to be learned from this movie. Maybe not necessarily from the writing or cinematography or acting or...
There are some important things that we do talk about. After.
Yeah.
After. Yeah.
So, should we jump into it?
Yeah. Let's get this thing going.
Okay.
Hey, B-Siders. Welcome to another episode of Bravo for the B-Side. This is Jim.
And this is Danny.
It's not going to work.
I'm going to make you laugh.
Yeah, at some point. Maybe. So, yeah. We have an interesting film this week.
It was recommended to us by one of our patrons.
It was. And I think... need to preempt this with a bit of a spoiler. It's not a great film.
It is not.
But it is an important film. And I would suggest seeing it. And we're going to talk more afterwards about there's a whole web of things around this. All these little tendrils of, bits and pieces of information and how it came together and stuff. So, yeah, that's what we've got going.
Yeah.
Yeah. And let's see. Jumping into December. This will be the second week of December, I think, by the time this comes out.
Uh-huh.
So getting close to Christmas.
And the millionth day of this pandemic.
Yep. Still going on. Still going strong. Not what you want to hear.
No.
But, you do what you've got to do.
Yeah.
So, do you want to tell us about this movie? And let's jump right into this because I think there's a lot of discussion after.
I would love to.
Let's do that.
This movie is called Dolemite. It was made in 1975, directed by Derville Martin. Written by Jerry Jones and Rudy Ray Moore. Starring Rudy Ray Moore, Derville Martin, and Jerry Jones. Rated R.
Did that throw you off? I have an actual rating?
A little bit, because...
Well,
The budget was $10,000 estimated. And here...
You have 100.
100,000. Yeah, $100,000 estimated. I just said it wrong.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, boy.
Is this how you're supposed to make me laugh?
I'm going to get you so bad.
You don't know.
I do know.
So $100,000 estimated.
$100,000, yeah. And this is the log line. After he is released from jail, a pimp takes on the criminals and corrupt police officers who framed him in the first place. I just want to let that sink in.
Let it marinate a minute.
A pimp.
Yeah.
takes on criminals
Yeah.
and corrupt police officers.
Yeah.
So, anyway, there were a couple of just kind of fun trivia tidbits on IMDb that I wanted to kind of throw out there about this movie.
Yeah, go ahead and
before
do
we
it.
jump in there. I just want you to take this as it is.
Right.
This is one of the little tidbits. At one point, the New York Times called the film the Citizen Kane of blaxploitation films.
Right.
I have no idea what that means.
I don't either, because there's also the quote and I can't remember who it was from, but it simply says, "Not fit for a blind dog to see."
Right.
So marry those two together and make of it what you will, folks.
Yeah. This film has influenced a lot of filmmakers and just people in the business, essentially, over the years. It is kind of a touchstone of bad cinema, essentially. It's influenced Quentin Tarantino, Snoop Dogg, and Eddie Murphy, who, in fact, in 2019, released a movie called Dolemite Is My Name, which was about the making of this movie.
Right. So it's kind of like a disaster artist.
A little bit.
Of The Room, and now we have Dolemite, and then Dolemite Is My Name, and it'll all wed together later, folks. Just keep listening.
I am loving the genre of movies that are movies about making bad movies.
That I want to talk about that more as well.
A couple of other things. This film had to be cut in order to secure that R rating that I stumbled over earlier.
Yeah.
I don't know what they cut.
I don't know either.
To bring it down to R.
I'm trying to think what part of what thing could have been more to make them say, "Oh no, this is an X rating." Right. Right. You gotta shave some of that off. Because as we go through this, folks, I don't know. Again, use your imagination.
Yeah. The crew worked very hard on this movie, and watching it, it's obvious that it's an earnest effort.
Oh, absolutely.
According to the trivia on IMDb, they averaged 16 to 18 hours per day throughout the filming. That's a long-ass day.
Yeah. That is.
And then one final little tidbit that I thought was fun.
This cracks me up. Go ahead.
See, I made you laugh. The cinematographer, Nicholas Joseph von Sternberg, had to be occasionally covered with a sound blanket because he couldn't stop laughing during the shooting of this film. This movie is not a comedy.
No. I think that paints the picture pretty well, and, I mean, listeners, you kind of know what's coming. We didn't get machete brutal with it, but, it is what it is. And we watched it and we took our notes. So, let's go for the ride.
I feel like my comments were about as kind as they could have been.
Right. But, this is an important film.
Yeah.
And, just because of that, it doesn't mean it's good. It's bad.
Yeah.
But not in you should have known better kind of bad. Right. It's just, you watch, and some people will probably love it because everyone likes everything different. I mean, movies we like, people are like, eh.
Listen.
People recommend these. Oh man,
true.
This rock star movie, you got to see it. And we're like, eh, when we watch it. So,
I mean, well, we love The Room, and we both also agree that movie is unequivocally terrible.
Right. Yeah. Well, you know what? Let's get into this.
Let's do it
and talk about this movie because there's just so much to go on about.
Yeah.
On the back end.
All right. So we start with a prison cell. There's 2 guys in it, and a guard comes in and says the warden has summoned one of them, and he's not pleased about it. His name is Dolemite. So he goes into the office and there's a woman in there and she's apparently been advocating for his innocence. So the warden lights a cigarette and it just gave me a moment to appreciate how the veneer on the wall in this room it's a wood veneer.
Yeah.
But it's so warped and cheap that it looks like wrapping paper, like brown butcher paper.
It reminded me of a poor veneer job on the inside of a non-air conditioned room or building in like Louisiana Bayou.
Right. If you stuck
it's just humidity, just
wood veneer to your bathroom walls with thumbtacks and then just let it do its thing.
But to be fair, it wasn't as out of place as using a Ranger trailer as a maximum security prison.
Oh, you're going to just keep going on about that, aren't you?
That was so stupid. It's going to be the pillar of comparison. Mm-hmm. Not as bad as. And then you know what's going to come out of my mouth.
No.
Continue.
So it seems like the warden wants to make him a deal. He is in jail for stolen furs and narcotics. One of these things is not like the others.
Right.
So it's some sort of chance to prove his innocence. And then we get what I think is a flashback where he's coming out of his house and a guy who claims to be with the FBI is there to check out his trunk. And I have to say, wardrobe choices in this movie, fantastic. Loved them. All of them. Dolemite in the scene is wearing this knitted checkerboard hat that I'm super into.
Yeah.
And I want it. And then there's this just like the most disaffected, apathetic fight scene that I've ever seen in my whole life. It's like if you showed a toddler a Bruce Lee movie and then you were like, do what's on the screen.
Yeah. Well, we were just talking about this before starting this. And I to me, it was almost like, you know how you get like see behind the scenes things and they'll like, okay, so I'm going to do, this move, and you're going to fall back. Right. And they're not actually like getting into it full swings and stuff. It's just like, so I got a left, I got a right, and I'm going to elbow and then you go back. Only, the one guy's like, so I'm going to do this, and this. And the other guy's like, oh, I'm going to fall back like this, because I don't know that they understood camera positioning because it's super clear. Nobody comes within 8 to 10 inches of one another, except a couple scenes where they give a shove. Here's
what I think happened. Their fucking cinematographer was covered with the sound blanket and couldn't see what was going on.
Yeah, I suppose, once you shoot that shit and develop the film, we talked about it before. It's super expensive to go back. We got to do this over again. You got to do an Ed Wood. Nope. Good. Next one.
Practice, guys. All right. Sound blanket on. Yeah. So, also this acting is something.
Yeah.
And they end up arresting him. And then one of the police officers. None of them look like police officers, by the way. They all kind of look like, like Dan from the car mechanic shop.
Well, they do. And I just want to say, so folks, if you have an interest in like shows from the 70s, right? Or you're old enough to have grown up through the 70s, you've seen Starsky and Hutch, Beretta, Columbo, all these wonderful shows. Now, Starsky and Hutch, undercover detectives, they never wore uniforms. They're just out kind of doing their thing. They still looked more like cops.
Yeah.
Than these guys.
These guys don't even have the 70s requisite standout mustache for cops.
No. And nothing about them says cop or FBI agent.
No.
Right?
Not even close.
So, yeah, not great wardrobe.
So one of them goes back to his car and there's a guy with a pimp hat on in the back seat and he says to the guy, right on schedule. So then we're back in the warden's office and the woman's name is Queen Bee.
Yes.
And my note here is, boy, this is dry, especially considering the number of motherfucker exclamations that have been thrown out. Because she's supposed to be very emotional and Well, it's not convincing.
You know what? Star Trek fans, imagine Star Trek Next Generation, Commander Data, giving it up with obscenities.
Yeah.
Every other word is motherfucker.
Mm-hmm.
That's the level of emotion that she was showing.
It's pretty great. So at this point, I understand, I guess, that the warden is going to let him out to prove his innocence. Sure. Seems legitimate. And Queen Bee says one of the conditions is that he has to lay low.
Right.
And right after this is said, Queen Bee says she's so happy and she's going to tell everyone he's coming home tomorrow.
I know.
And I'm like, pretty sure he just literally was just like, this is secret. Keep it on the DL. Okay, then.
There's only 3 people. Oh, no, 4 people. Me, you, her, and an unknown FBI agent.
Right.
Who you'll know later.
Yeah.
Literally, that's what. I don't think that was a line.
I think that's verbatim almost.
I think he read the notes.
And then there's some explanation of someone called Willie Green, but it didn't seem to matter, so I missed it.
Yeah.
Except that there's someone called Willie Green.
Well, let me jump ahead a little bit on that. So Willie Green, and here's the problem. Well, here's one of the problems that we have is when you cut to, first of all, let's go to the flashback. Okay. When you cut to a flashback, it has to be like a slap in the face to the viewer. They have to know this is a flashback.
Yeah, that was not clear.
Not clear at all. And I got to tell you what, though, you can't pick on this movie for that because we have seen so many things that 2020 productions like on fucking Netflix and Hulu and Amazon. I don't know where they get these people to edit stuff, but Jesus Christ.
Craigslist.
Oh, hat tip to David.
I'm going to start offering my editing services on Craigslist.
Seriously.
See what happens.
So, that's one thing. But also, when you introduce a character, you have to either A, make it really mysterious and then catch it later, or B, dedicate a moment to explain. Because if you don't have that later in the script, here's your moment.
Right.
This is your nugget.
And this was just kind of like,
Tell us
also
who he is.
there's someone called Willie Green.
Yeah. All right. So after that lackluster introduction to what would later prove to be an important person in the film, we cue the title music, and it was written specifically for the movie.
I loved it. So I cut this out because it was in my notes, but I was like, I would put this on a house cleaning playlist.
The music throughout this film is good old fashioned R&B and funk.
Yeah.
And
I dig it.
I was loving it, but I wanted to write that it was written specifically for the movie because, it's Dolemite and this and that, and there's just, you don't get that a lot anymore. I mean, how long has it been since a song has played, during the credits of the opening of a film that is specifically do with these characters and what's going on in this film?
I mean, there are some movies that do it, like all the James Bond movies do it regularly, and
that's just a thing.
Well, I mean, but they don't, like Adele wasn't like, oh, James Bond.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, this was very literal, and I kind of miss that.
That's fair.
So after the credits, Dolemite is coming out of jail, and there's a limo with 3 women who are there to pick him up, and then, nope, nice little edit shot. There's a 4th one in the car.
Magically.
Yes. And then, after a little bit of talking, now there's 5. Right? Another one just sprung out of the ground. So where are all these ladies coming from?
The trunk.
So Dolemite, this is awesome. He starts changing his clothes right there in the open. And I'm talking about right in front of
literally
the jail entrance.
Yeah.
Prison entrance, right? Because they send them out.
The gate isn't fully closed because their car is in that jam.
Right.
right there.
Yeah. So what they would do sometimes is send people out with a cheap suit, right? And like, $20 and you're done. You're on your way. So he's going, and this suit wasn't for him. That's why he's like changing. And during this, they're handing him clothes. He's putting them on. This lady hands him some cotton boxers. This is one of my favorite lines. Bitch, I don't wear no cotton drawers.
Except we literally just saw him in his skivvies and they were cotton.
Shh.
It's fine.
Okay. So then he's replaced his what is supposed to be a plain suit with a baby blue white fur-lined suit with a giant ass bow tie.
I'd wear it.
I know. So in the car, two women, now they're driving, and then two women in back are undressing him. And then we have some really awkward kissing and then a generous portion of bare tits. Mm-hmm. And then four men in a caddy take off after Dolemite's car. They're looking to kill him.
We know this because they say, we're going to kill Dolemite.
Yep. Mm-hmm. So Dolemite, they see this car following him. Dolemite tells his driver to pull the car over. He gets out and runs into the bushes with like a grease gun. and then it takes off and the other car pulls up a bit. Or the first car pulls up, doesn't like take off, just like goes up like 4 spaces worth and then stops. Other car comes, stops, points a gun, and then the men jump out but don't see Dolemite in the car. They're like, where is he? He's not here. And my favorite bit is someone confirms that. He's right. He's not here.
I know.
Jesus Christ. Now, let's just say this. Dolemite, I'm guessing, is like 6'1". Okay. Rudy Ray Moore is not a short little man, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Even in cars from the 70s, somebody of that size is not hard to see. Okay. And then, boom, Dolemite steps out of the bushes, shoots the men, makes one of them dance, which is funny. He starts dancing before Dolemite starts shooting the ground. And then the caps that are going off on the ground are like 10 feet away from the guy.
Yeah.
And then he shoots him and then they drive off. So now he's at Queen Bee's. Lots of scantily clad women. And then we learn that he lost his club. So Dolemite had a club. Apparently Queen Bee was part of it. This was just, she goes on about how things are tough and stuff. And then she tells him that she and the girls had to sell pussy on the corner to keep from losing the house that they're in. And then they bring up Willie Green again.
He's a person that exists.
Yeah. So we know him from his mention earlier in the beginning. And then she's telling Dolemite to give him a call. Then we learn Queen Bee put Dolemite's girls through karate school. So I'm guessing it's the 5 that were there to pick him up. I don't know.
Karate school.
And then we it's a flashback. We know this now, but again, kind of important to let us know that's what we're in. So we get a shot of one of them demanding money from her John who won't pay. And then apparently she kicks his ass, but we don't see it. She kind of does the karate hands in the air thing. And then we cut back. Yeah.
Yeah. It's something. So now we're with Willie Green and I'm like, cool. We're going to get to know Willie Green. He's at a massage place and there are some somewhat terrifying looking sex acts going on as he walks through this place. They do not look enjoyable.
This was the longest scene throughout the whole movie. There's important things to talk about. There's things going on all through this film. They spent more time on his casual walk through this massage parlor place. And it I don't know what the vibe was supposed to be, but it certainly was the most unsexy.
I would think that
thing.
anyone who goes into this sex parlor would never go back again. Because what I saw in there was just scary.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. Okay.
So, and then that's about it for it.
Yeah,
So
let's
we
move
don't
on.
get to learn anything about Willie Green, actually, other than he likes scary sex parlors. So back to Dolemite with some woman. And it's a sex scene. And I honestly don't think any of these people in this movie could look more uncomfortable with these sex scenes if they actually tried to.
It's so coincidences, right? Earlier today, I was listening to Anna Faris's podcast, and she has Kate Mara on, this latest one. And Kate Mara was talking about how they have intimacy counselors on set. And she was talking about how she was talking with her co-stars, and they all decided it's way worse with this woman on set. It's, they're all like, I think we've been talking about way more stuff than we should, and stuff we shouldn't even be talking about, So it's, and I kind of had that thought, because this is a bad intimacy scene. I thought, boy, maybe they could have used, but I guess maybe that's a bad idea. You either got it or you don't. You can either pull it off or you can't, I guess.
I mean, I think there's a good balance. As an actor, like, you can go out and find intimacy courses, right? To just kind of teach you what to expect, what kind of, how to act in those kinds of scenes.
Right.
Because they are awkward and uncomfortable and,
Well, they are. And I think, though, the ones who have been most successful at it have talked about it. And it really just comes down to being able to sit down and just, it's an actor, it's your job.
Yeah.
So talk about it as a job function. So, let's set, what does the scene want? What does the director want? Okay, what can we do? What are the limits? And, let's kind of, work together. And I'm not diminishing how awkward it is, especially for, a married actor to step in front of a camera and just maul.
Yeah.
So,
as opposed to this, where it kind of looks like they set the scene, turned on the camera, and then the director was like, so what I want you to keep in mind during this scene is that your partner's skin is made of poison.
Yes. It's like the lava thing. Don't touch it. Don't touch it.
So, and then suddenly Dolemite's in a parking lot with the guys that originally arrested him. And they plant some drugs in his car and literally admit to doing it in front of him.
Yeah.
Like, they're so cartoonishly villainous. And then Dolemite puts his terrible martial arts moves on them. And I look, let's never forget the face kick here that not only didn't connect, it was literally a foot away from the face. And delivers, by my rough estimate, the fifth motherfucker of the movie.
Right.
Because that's like, there are maybe 2 swear words in this whole movie. Motherfucker is one of them.
Yeah.
And it's used like 600 times.
Yeah.
So then we're in a church with someone delivering a somewhat confusing sermon. It starts out pretty political. It's fine.
Yeah.
And then moves quickly into how important mothers are. So wasn't quite sure what the point of it was.
Well, he switched it because the cops came in.
Oh.
So he was doing a revolutionary sermon.
Oh.
She's been put down by the man, going to rise up, and this and that. And the cops walk in. That's
the
all
camera
about.
work would have made that super clear for me.
Well,
so the cops or whatever they are come in and give the reverend some shit. They find a gun stash in a closet in the church. And I decide that I'm going to go ahead and call these 2 guys Chin and Curly because I just really need to get some more character names in here. So they're Chin and Curly. And then we see some random guy at a food cart, and that's all there is to that scene.
No, there's more. You've cut it out.
What?
Hamburger Pimp.
That's when he returns.
Oh, is that what he does?
Yeah, because I was like, don't know who this guy is. He's buying a hamburger.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, there's that little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. This
Yeah.
is rough to recount.
This movie is messy as fuck.
Okay, so Dolemite is now dressed like either Doctor Who or Willy Wonka. Folks, when you watch this film, take your pick. They both fit.
Dr. Willy Wonka who? Dr. Willy Who Wonka.
Doctor Who Wonka.
I like it.
He's standing by a car and talking to people, and he erupts into a poem, a long one, a very, very long one.
Like 6 solid minutes.
Which made no fucking sense until I researched this man.
Okay.
We're going to talk about that at the end. But without that little tidbit of knowledge, it's just a long goddamn poem. And and this is okay, so then we cross paths with the hamburger pimp, who's a street druggie. And I'm going to say this several times. Hamburger pimp. Hamburger pimp.
Best name ever.
Hamburger pimp.
Hamburger Pimp.
We need more movies with more tertiary characters named Hamburger Pimp. I fucking died.
Would you
Hey, Hamburger Pimp. I was like, whoa.
Would you let me name my next D&D character Hamburger Pimp?
Sure.
Oh my God.
Go for it.
I'm so excited about this.
Okay, so Hamburger Pimp passes a little info on to Dolemite, who makes a deal with him to get more information. And, if the guy keeps giving it over, Dolemite will make sure he never has to worry about a fix again. So,
making it clear that Dolemite's a good guy, right?
That's more of the discussion also for later. So they drive to Hamburger Pimp's house. A house, I guess. I don't know where he's hanging.
I don't know.
And at this point, because I stopped trying to figure out where the actual fuck they're going and who it has to do with. But I started finding myself missing these big fucking cars from the 70s. I had a 75 Chevy Impala. I loved that goddamn car. It was like driving an extended bed pickup by today's standards. It was big, broad, 5.5 feet tall. I could lay down, touch my head to one door, and my feet wouldn't touch the other, and traveled half the country in that car as a kid. Anyway, so they go inside Hamburger Pimp's house, and he shoots up.
Sure.
I may not be familiar with how things work in the streets in LA, but I do know one thing. If your CI is a druggie, you don't let them shoot up before you get the information. Just saying.
Well, I think we know at this point, Dolemite's not a private investigator.
Well, maybe that's true, but I would think street smarts alone would say, if you're going to grill an addict, grill him before you give him the stuff. Because Hamburger Pimp starts talking about who killed Jimmy, and he's just like soaring now. He can't talk. His eyes are bad. So Dolemite starts to rough him up just to get him to talk. And then he starts to tell the tale. And then 2 guys bust in and shoot him.
It's Chin and Curly.
Yeah. Dolemite gets into another really bad karate fight. No.
Oh, no, it was
guys.
2.
Yeah, it was 2 hitmen. And then Chin and Curly, I just call them Cop 1 and Cop 2. But Chin and Curly show up. And they tell Dolemite he's under arrest, then cuff him. Now, let's lay this out. Dolemite's in a room. Blood splatters on the walls. He's got 1 dead junkie and 2 dead hitmen. And his question is, what's the charge?
Right. You're under arrest. What for?
Wasn't me. It's like this when I got here.
Oh my God.
Now, at this point, I'm thinking this seems like it could perhaps be the most poorly executed secret plan ever done in a movie. All of this, and it's still echoing in my head, down low, stay low, stay quiet. It's not happening.
No.
So we're back at the church. A third cop shows up. It interrupts the minister who is fucking some woman.
Yes.
Not sure why that's relevant, but it was there and we saw it. She scurries off to another room. The minister talks to the cop. Willie Green's name comes up again. The cop who the minister works for, apparently.
Well, the cop asks who he works for, who the minister works for.
Oh, the cop asks who the minister works for. Yeah, never mind. Willie Green or Dolemite. The minister says he works for the Lord only. Words are then exchanged and the cop leaves. So back at the whorehouse, because that's what it is. The house that they were in. This made no sense. A random woman comes out of a room on camera and accuses a different woman of stealing from Queen Bee. And then she pulls stacks of cash out of her bra, throws it on the table, and Queen Bee kicks her out.
This scene isn't relevant to literally anything.
It had nothing to do with anything. I'm still having trouble processing this.
I missed it.
But we did get, as she left, we did get nobody steals from Dolemite.
Oh, all right.
Oh, okay.
Okay, then. And then the third police officer who I have come to suspect is a good police officer.
Mm-hmm.
Then goes to talk to Dolemite in jail, right? Because he was just caught in a room full of bodies. Let's not forget that. He was just caught in a room full of bodies that he killed all of them.
Yep.
Okay. So this good police officer comes to talk to him, asking him about Willie Green and some lovely karate girls. And then Dolemite is suddenly free for some reason.
He made bail, I guess, for triple murder.
Oh. So he leaves, and then outside there's this girl named Pinky Yvonne.
Yeah.
And okay, first of all, cool fucking name.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And she is fucking cool looking.
Oh, yeah, she is.
Yeah. I like her.
One of the standouts.
Yeah. And then there's some more weird sex scenes between the two of them.
God, yeah.
And I start to wonder if this is maybe what Tommy Wiseau watched for his notes on how to film a sex scene.
I love it.
I mean, maybe. There's some similarities.
Not too far off. There's so much weird shit that happens in this scene that it just is like fucking hell.
Yeah, because I guess you have to watch it. I'm not going to describe it.
Yep, nope. Gotta
Seems
watch
like
it, folks.
Crime against humanity.
You know you want to watch it.
So he asked her why she left him when he went to prison. And I was like, I mean...
Isn't that sort of what happens?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know so much that he left her more than he went to prison.
Well, she left him. He asked her. He was like, why'd you leave me when I went to prison? I'm like, well, I mean...
Well, that's what I'm saying is, so, he didn't leave her, so he's not neglecting her. He went to prison.
Right.
So, switch that around. When you go to prison, it shouldn't be an algebraic equation to sort of decipher and suss out why someone left you, especially when you're going to be in there for till the end of fucking time.
Yeah. And here I was like, maybe she works for Willie Green. Maybe they're trying to put some
mojo,
some depth into this story. Even though Dolemite is obviously a much cooler name than Willie Green, so why would she work for him?
Right.
When she can be awkwardly boning Dynamite. And then they have sex again. And I had to ask out loud during the sex scene, did he kill her at the end of it? And Jim had to explain to me, no, he came. And I was like, oh, that's how weird these scenes are.
It's so bad. Oh my God.
Anyway, now we're at a club and there's some girls dancing just terribly on the stage. And Shy, one of Dolemite's girls, comes in, followed shortly by Dolemite. And he tells all the guys in there to kick Willie Green out and then punches them all and leaves.
Yep.
And he should have stayed because Willie Green literally walks in like 2 seconds later.
Yeah. What the fuck happened here?
Missed opportunity. So then Dolemite and Queen Bee go to visit the karate school. And I have to say, this is a Chuck Norris karate school.
It is a Chuck Norris studio. Yes.
Yeah.
Because those were huge.
Yes.
Let me just break away. Why was that huge, you may ask, folks? If you were alive and growing up, you know. And if you weren't, it's because Chuck Norris was the kickboxing champion. They called him Superfoot. He was a fast kicker. So in the martial arts realm, especially in Hollywood.
Oh, yeah.
What do? I mean, let's think about it. Go way back. You're a martial artist. You win some trophies. Not a lot of fucking money in that. I mean, that's it, So why not start a school based on your name and success?
Chuck Norris is still a legend.
It still is.
To this day. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So he tells Queen Bee that he took the club back from Willie Green. And then he tells the girls. And they're going to plan a party about it. And I'm like, whoa, he is doing a real bang-up job of laying low to prove his innocence. Because
the only thing missing from this is availability of internet, where he could have gone onto Facebook and literally posted to the entire world, hey, here I am.
Right? You could put up a billboard and be like, I'm back, bitches. And that would be more low-key than what he's doing here.
Yes.
They're going to invite, quote, everyone. And announce publicly Dolemite's return to the pimping club scene.
Yes. That is exactly how it was detailed.
Yeah.
So now we're at some house. There's a bunch of people there to celebrate the mayor, we find out. Willie Green pulls up outside, and it's hilarious because he pulled up, I can't remember the car, but it reminded me of Lance's from Detectorists.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
His little canary yellow Sportster 2-seater. He knocks on the door to see the mayor, and the butler refuses to let him in. And then Willie gets all pissy with him, and then the butler goes to tell the mayor. And I love this. They go to the mayor, and the mayor's like, put him in the library. So then we cut to the library. Not a fucking book in this room.
Nope.
Not even shelves.
There's a coffee table and like a couple chairs, and that's it.
So anyway, Willie tells the mayor that Dolemite is giving him trouble. And I thought, you whiny bitch.
Right?
You guys are supposed to be hard-ass street pimps, man. You shouldn't be fucking crying to your higher-ups. You should be taking care of business. Anyway. Anyway, so it seems that the mayor knows this already. And that he's the one who had bailed out Dolemite for the recent murders. Well, a little downtown connection to get out on a triple homicide.
Tell us why he bailed out Dolemite.
So that they can hit him when they're ready. And I couldn't help but think right when he said that, again, it seems like there are way simpler methods to kill someone than to go through all of this shit.
Your plot is full of holes.
This plot could use a hole because at least you'd have something to focus on. It's non-existent is what it is. I just got to say. So these are, thugs, pimps. This is street level shit going on, right? We have dead bodies everywhere, up in the canyon roads, in some fucking druggie's house, and I can't remember all the other people he's laid out, here and there. if you just walk up to the guy and put a bullet in his head and walk away, right? Done and done. Especially since, the cops are corrupt and, only 3 other people know about him being out.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So after that flawed fucking explanation, Willie leaves. Mayor makes a phone call. Oh, surprise. He's going to have Willie killed as well. Shocker.
What?
Mm-hmm. So we're at the club. Dolemite gets a call. It's the minister. So they're going to meet. At the church, Dolemite shows up in another suit with chai. Gotta say, there are so many wardrobe. It's like every time he goes like into the bathroom to take a shit or a piss, he comes out in a whole new outfit. Every time we see him, it's something else.
I love it.
It's God. Anyway. So at the church, there's a guy in a coffin. From the one angle, you look over, there's a couple coffins. One's closed, one's open. And I'm like, why are there all of a sudden all these like backed up funeral caskets?
Right.
Right. And they're just going to sit here and chat over the dead bodies. And then from another angle, oh shit, there's 2 coffins with guys in it.
Mm-hmm. And they're not laying like solidly and they're like lounging.
Yeah. They're not even
with their eyes closed.
Like in state. Yeah. They're just kind of chilling. And then there's a 3rd coffin. They pop that open. It's full of guns. And then bam. Oh, nope. These guys aren't dead. They're just laying there. When Dolemite threatens to expose the minister, those bodies snap to, guns in hand. Dolemite just leaves. So the next day, Dolemite is in disguise with this comically large goatee. And even more comically massive collar on a shirt. It honestly, let's use D&D terms. It looks like, this might be vulgar, but hey, fuck it. It looked like the spent saggy tits of a titan were draped around his neck. There are these huge triangular floppy, it doesn't even look like a collar. Well, it's like something died on each side.
It's just they're like with these long, flaccid extensions,
shapeless fucking
to
thing.
What?
I thought, you know what? Out of all of the styles that we've seen in this film, and they're not outlandish because that was the fucking 70s. I'm here to tell you. However, I think for a disguise, again, possibly the worst choice in wardrobe, aside from the big, like, Arkansas hillbilly goatee, this fucking shirt. And he's wearing overalls.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, he finds some cocaine in fish boxes that are supposed to be of fish. And then we're back to the club at night. It's celebration time. The band looks ridiculous, but I'm digging the funk Motown combo playing. This was really good music.
Yeah. I had a note on the scene.
Please do.
Which was watching the band play. It could not be more clear that they're just miming and mimicking playing.
Yeah. It wasn't it was a really poor air band performance.
It's a terrible sync up here. Yeah.
But the music was damn good. And I'm finding myself, I wish it would have played more because it ended like really quick.
Because it's like the only enjoyable thing that's happened in the film.
Pretty much. So then there's a little chat and now a singer comes up. And then I was like, some good old fashioned R&B. And then fucking Willie Green shows up with his crew all dressed up to party. And let me tell you, these fucking hats.
Love them.
Every one of them different. Every one of them huge. Every one of them furry.
I love them.
Every one of them fitting.
I love them.
Oh,
I love them so much.
And of course, as Willie Green shows up, just sucks the life out of the party. The fucking music's over. Now it's the Dolemite dancers. They're doing a tribal dance. And it was, again, oddly, this was one of the best parts of the movie.
Yes.
Now, there was one dancer who was like, there was the two. Okay. Clearly, they're dancers. There's a third one who looks like she might be the B or C string dancer in a production.
Yeah.
She was almost with it all the way. Then the fourth one truly looked like, oh, man, we could really use 4 dancers. And somebody like just called their cousin or their sister or something. Like, come on down.
Yeah.
Is she a dancer? No. She had like 20 minutes of rehearsal and they went at it.
Yep.
But other than that, it was actually pretty good. And again, love the music. And then Dolemite strolls out and he's talking. And this is fucking funny because his lips are not matching the words.
At all.
At all. I don't know what he actually said on film, but
No.
the ADR was radically fucking different. Not even close.
There's also like at least 10 motherfuckers in this diatribe.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's everywhere. And because it's another poem of sorts, and not a short one, mind you.
Yeah, when I realized it was a poem, I was like, I'm just going to settle in for the next 6 minutes.
That's about how it goes, because finally it ends.
So then Dolemite goes back out to the floor to talk to Willie Green, because he's been alerted that Willie Green is there. And Willie Green compliments Dolemite on his poetry reading. And I mean, it feels kind of like complimenting a Vogon.
I love it.
There's no way that's sincere. And then Willie Green just takes a gun and shoots randomly around, killing Queen Bee-ish.
Yeah.
Kinda.
Yeah.
And then goes in pursuit of Dolemite, who just fucking ran away. There's a bunch of little fight scenes around the club with the girls, like the cook, and then Dolemite and Willie Green. And Dolemite eventually knocks Willie Green out. And the good cop, and at this point, I'm still not totally sure that's what he's supposed to be, but I'm just going to call him that, comes into the club. He catches up with Dolemite and Willie Green in the dressing room and just like double taps Willie Green with 2 rounds from his pistol.
Yeah.
All right.
Well.
Elsewhere, I think based on what's happening in this scene, that someone is biting the mayor's dick off. By the way, he's screeching in naked pain.
Yeah. We'll just leave it at that. Yeah.
And then the phone rings and he goes to answer it and he starts talking to Chin about Dolemite.
Yeah.
Then he calls someone and says to put a contract on Dolemite and gives them his hospital room number, even though Chin just told the mayor that he didn't know where Dolemite was.
Right.
All right. And then the girl who was biting his dick off earlier pulls a gun. Do you like that?
Yes.
She's apparently with Dolemite, and they fight until the mayor strangles her. So I guess she didn't have enough karate school.
No. That was really bad. So then there's a pool. Mayor has a pool, sure. And an unknown FBI guy shows up. There's 2 thugs. And now I thought this was our guy. You'll know him later.
Yeah.
Spoiler. I was wrong. And then the mayor is running away. And then there's a car chase as unknown FBI guy, or UFBIG. UFBIG. Is chasing him. And the mayor can't outrun UFBIG. Though there isn't a whole lot of fancy driving going on.
It is the least exciting car chase I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It looks kind of like they're just driving normally.
Right. You know? Anyway, suddenly the mayor's at an airport. An airport. It's not LAX.
No.
It's actually, he pulls up to like a plane.
Like a little single
little
passenger.
Cessna.
Yeah.
He runs to it, and Big kills him.
Mm-hmm.
At the hospital, Cop 3, who's the good cop, is telling Dolemite there's a contract on him. And I guess Cop 3 is an FBI guy as well?
I was right. He's a good cop.
He's the unknown FBI guy. So we didn't need Big
Right.
previously, right? This would have worked better had it been Cop 3. So we now have Big 1 and Big 2. Anyway, well, he's not unknown anymore. He's just Cop 3. Good cop. And then 3 guys show up to kill Dolemite. He jumps them when they go into... There was also this conversation how they switched room numbers around.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry, but, how mentally deficient do you need to be to figure out that, 1, 2, 3, 27, 9, 15, 14, fucking numbers aren't right.
Well, okay. They set up this scene where they explained that they knew someone was coming to kill Dolemite, so they switched his room numbers around or switched rooms or something.
Yeah.
And then the guys show up and they're like, "Where's my buddy Dolemite?" to the nurse.
Yeah. And
she is like, 2:15. And then she gives this little like sly smile. And I'm like, okay, way to just fucking like fuck the tension to death in your movie. You didn't need to add that in. You could have revealed it after, like, oh,
right.
We very cleverly switched the room numbers around. That's why you got the jump on them.
In boxing terms, it's called telegraphing the punch.
Yeah.
Oh, all of that was for nothing, because as soon as they go into the room, he fucking jumps them.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, what? Isn't he not supposed to be there? Was there not supposed to be some other like grand plan?
Nope.
Nope. He's there. And then Cop 3 shows up. Between the two of them, all 3 men are killed. And good cop shoots like Yosemite Sam, and it's hilarious. I love that. He's bow-legged little. And this is what I don't understand. So we've all been in hospitals. So you're in the hallway, and there's a door. You go in the door into the room. Now, seldom, especially when there's a window, across from you from the doorway, seldom is there a door on that wall. Because if you go through it, you're going to drop however many stories up you are.
Yeah.
Right? So anyway, Cop 3 walks off camera. Like he's going to jump out the fucking window or something. That's how he leaves. And then Cops 1 and 2 show up, and then Cop 3 is suddenly back. Right? Not like they come in and he's on it. It's literally like, okay, just remember, you're in another room. Give it a moment. So they come in, start talking some shit, and some things go on, and then he shows up. When laws of physics, goddammit, he was standing 4.5 fucking feet away, unless he was just lost looking out the window. Anyway, he arrests the other cops. There's a small smattering of shit that happens that is incohesive, makes no sense. They all live happily ever after.
The end.
The end. Now.
We did it.
So this movie is bad. But let me start with Rudy Ray Moore. Okay. So some things I learned about him. Rudy Ray Moore financed this film himself. We knew that.
Yeah.
Okay. And he did so because he's a comic. Excuse me. He's a comic. He made comic records and made good money off of those records, plus his gigs and stuff over the years. By the time Dolemite came along, he had been going. He also, helped other people make records. He got some of that. So on its face, Rudy Ray Moore is a perfect example of a massive fuck you to a system that was discriminatory and oppressive to anyone of color of any kind any other ethnicity than standard white bread Americans. And that in and of itself makes this film hugely important, because this film is a giant fuck you back to the face of Hollywood. You know, I want to make a movie. No, excuse. Veiled racism, probably not even veiled.
Probably not.
Because in the 70s, rich white folk were feeling pretty safe about their outward expression of their fucking horrific views. Dolemite is the name of his stage presence. It's a character he created, and that was part of his thing, were these long, like, poems, just filthy. And he was, Rudy Ray Moore passed away in 2008. Complications of diabetes, which was way too soon. He was like 60. He was born in 48, right? Way too young. He would have, now that all these Band-Aids have been pulled back, right? He would have excelled in this new era, for a number of reasons. But he, there's also some sequels.
Oh yeah, lots of them.
Yeah. And then he did some other stuff too. But his Dolemite stage presence is what that was all about. And he was saying he was influenced by Red Fox. Now, people, again, see, I know all these names, and I know for a fact most listeners have no fucking clue who these people are, which is kind of a shame. Go on to Hulu, go on to whatever you've got, dig back and look for like Sanford and Son. Okay. That's like the angel version of Red Fox. Plays Fred Sanford, the father, and his son Lamont. They run a junkyard, and it's fucking hilarious. I loved watching that growing up. But here's the kicker. As a kid, you only see that on TV, right? Wasn't until later when we had things like HBO, when we could see Red Fox, because, I wasn't old enough to go see him. And plus, I didn't, live in LA. Red Fox was probably one of the most foul-mouthed comics ever. And he is just fucking hilarious, So that whole thing is what brought this all together. So this movie is a failed attempt at fleshing out the self-styled character for stand-up, this pimp, foul-mouthed, raunchy, take no bullshit motherfucker.
Sure.
Right? I feel like if he had this material today, say this hadn't been done, and he handed it over to someone who could actually write a screenplay, this would be a champion film. People would be fucking talking about this everywhere. It would make variety. It's like, Dolemite, holy shit. But unfortunately, that's not what happened.
Well, no.
So I want to say, again, reiterate, this is a terribly important movie because he used his own money. And the sad part is when you watch it now, you're not actually going to see the old film transfer, which I wish we could get, but it's all the restored versions, digitally remastered. So it actually looks, pretty good.
Yeah.
But you can't help it but look good. But even with that, there, aside from the editing and
the acting, and the plot holes.
Yeah. It's actually all right. No, it is an earnest effort. He was super serious about doing this.
Mm-hmm.
And, and I kind of wish he hadn't, he wasn't gone. I would love to have him on and talk to him about his evolution, because he's been at that, or he had been at this shit for a long, long time. Making all these comedy albums. There's so many, which is awesome. Probably not in my wheelhouse growing up because they're raunchy.
Sure.
I was like, when Dolemite came out, I was 5 or 6, depending whether it was before or after August. My first comedian record was Bill Cosby. And Bill Cosby's notoriously clean. So,
Right.
put the two together and that's what you get. But I would have loved to have talked to him about his career and building up to this. So right now I can only assume that this was his opus of I did this, I made these albums, people are shitting on me, the whole thing going on in the 60s and 70s. And he just wouldn't take it. Not going to stop. He's a proud black man who is going to make a black movie. Fuck Hollywood.
And he did.
Yeah. And here's the thing though. Whoop, smack my microphone, taking off my glasses. This technically is an independent film.
Well, yeah, because he financed it himself.
Right. But this bitch got a distribution deal. It showed, it played, it got a rating, because there's still, independent films from that era that don't have ratings.
Right.
Because they were never allowed a major theatrical release. They showed in art houses.
Yeah. MPAA doesn't bother rating things that don't get releases.
Right. Now, let's talk about some stuff.
All right.
I just wanted to make it clear that Rudy Ray Moore is somebody to be respected. This movie is bad, but it is not a movie of what not to do, like some of the ones that we've watched.
No.
Okay. The writing is bad, which kind of just flares out into, it affects everything. But it wasn't shaky. Right. I mean, it was still a production.
Yeah.
So, kind of like Tommy Wiseau, it's like, well, we got to get our stuff. We're going to spend this fucking money. We're going to get some stuff. And they got some stuff.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. If the bones are bad, right? The writing, the story, if the bones are bad, the house is going to be bad no matter what you do.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, it's a lesson in persistence. It's a lesson in just, not letting people tell you what you can and can't make. If you're a creative, do your thing. It's not going to be everyone's cup of tea.
Right. That's why, again, another reason why this movie is so important. And you have to remember, this movie was made for a specific audience. His comedy was targeted at a specific audience, which was his fellow Black Americans.
Mm-hmm.
Right. That's the way it was. Nowadays, we still have all the issues that we've discussed previously. Folks, we all know what they are. But I was just looking, Variety has an article on Michael B. Jordan. He's just focusing on killing it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't read the article because it was locked, but I got the little bits.
Oh,
the
sure.
Headline, someone like that, Chadwick Boseman.
Yeah.
Right. The only reason there would have been a Black Panther movie back in 1975 is if someone like Rudy Ray Moore said, you know what, I'm going to make a fucking hero movie. Now, there weren't really hero movies to speak of, right? Comic movies. And that would have only played in art houses or theaters not part of major chains. That would have been in predominantly Black neighborhoods. And that's their audience. And that's fine. That's what he did back then, because that's who this movie was for. Because people like to go to see movies. It'd be like,
well, people like to go see movies where they're represented,
Where they're represented, yeah. It's like, so like Bruce Lee, when he came to America to make movies, they tried everything they could to whiten it up.
Yeah.
Right. And he was stupidly successful in China.
Well, because he was amazingly, incredibly talented.
Well, that, plus it was China, so all of the stories and everything, it had to do with, these characters and stuff. He comes over here and now we're trying to put white people and tall people and all this in these roles that are there's no logical explanation for how this could ever come to pass, that this character would exist, other than they just want more white people surrounding him to kind of like block him out. And that's really what it was.
Yeah.
You know, it's horseshit, and we all know it. But that's the, you know, the fucking beast that is Hollywood. It's absolutely imperfect history.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't think you'll find anyone on the planet that says Hollywood is perfect in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
There are so many fucking problems in
Yeah.
that system. And I mean, that's the thing. That's why we do this show. That's why we love these movies. That's why we, you know, talk about them, because that system is shit.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
It is.
And there's no way of getting around that. The only way you're going to be able to get to do what you want to do is to just do it.
Yep. And this is a prime example. And sequels.
So many sequels.
Now, so the character of Dolemite, okay, stage persona, fleshing it out. This is an example of miss the mark, right? This isn't the first time someone has had an idea on stage. Okay. Let's talk Jerry Seinfeld.
Oh, yeah.
11 solid years of his comedy routine turned into TV. And it worked. Here's why. Because he got to a network and they threw a bunch of fucking people at him and somebody who actually knew the business of television. And bam, they had script writers. He oversaw everything. They based it on him. And then it just kind of floated away, where like the first episodes, you start out with, you know, him doing his routine as the credits come up, introducing the episode. And then it just stopped, you know,
Yeah.
for the more than the last half of the series. He doesn't even address that. In fact, he only ever like references here and there that he's actually still a comedian, you know, doing stuff. So they pulled that away. Now, fair, they had 11 years to work that all the way through. This just didn't do a good job at all on putting some meat on the bones of Dolemite. You know, he's a foul-mouthed poet. I got that. But, well, and a pimp. But there should have been something more. You know.
Yeah, there wasn't a whole lot of depth to the character. And I mean that even with bad writing and a bad story, you can have characters that have some depth to them.
Well, you can't. Well, I think of this as like an IP.
Sure.
Dolemite was his IP. I mean, nobody else would dare stand up at a club and do a Dolemite character and call him Dolemite, right? One, get his ass kicked, probably to death by everybody, if not Rudy. And two, that's just, you know, the worst kind of shit you can do.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. So, but, you know, I thought this was a really good example, pondering this whole mess on where things went wrong. Well, they never actually started right. So it just kind of from there. If you have an idea of a character, the very first thing you need to do is write a story about that character. We talk about backstory, how it's irrelevant. And this kind of thing it is. If you have a character that is a foul-mouthed pimp, okay, that's not enough to carry a movie.
I mean,
you gotta give him a little depth, and you have to create the world around him that explains why he's here, why we're watching him, why we care, right? Because the soft sell on this is he's a drug dealer, a smuggler, a pimp, a murderer, but he's not the worst of them.
Yeah.
So we're supposed to be on his side because, like, hey, man,
at
least you're no Willie Green.
Wow.
And Willie Green was undoubtedly the biggest. I don't know how he fucking got, other than Dolemite getting set up, how Willie Green managed to fucking take power and hold on to it. You talk about a giant pussy. This guy.
He was like 3 feet tall. He looked like a little bowling ball.
As dumb as a dry turd.
Yeah. So I want to go back to kind of character. Because, I mean, there's a lot of things you can do. And, I mean, if you go online and, you know, learn about how to flesh out characters and stuff. There are tons of little things that you can do. And if you've never heard of them, some really easy ones are like, and this is something that I've done, it doesn't have to go in your story. Write out a scene where your character walks into a bar with some other, like, already well fleshed out characters that you know pretty well. That, I mean, you don't even have to make them up. Pick characters from your favorite TV shows.
Right.
Throw them into the bar, put your character in there, and then just write out kind of what would happen, what they would say, what they would do. I booped my mic.
I know. That was loud, my earphones.
I mean, put them into scenes, write out stuff with them that's never going to actually go into your story, just so that you can get to know them a little better.
Well, yeah. And from there, the next step of creating the world, right? So, this is how he interacts with people, and this is why those interactions. This is who he is to say this. Mm-hmm. And this is something about him that they would say something, working that all. Well, now you need to put that in the bigger box, and you need to paint the backdrop, right? So, like, what I would have done differently is, and I love the anti-hero. That's the thing about this that rocks, is he chose an anti-hero. He's not this benevolent, I saw the light of my, it's like, I'm going to be pimping and dealing, and I'm going to do it in my own, fuck you, motherfucker. And I love that. Because I think it would have cheapened and lessened everything about that they were trying to go for when you do stuff like that, but I would have, so he's in jail. And other than fucking warden deciding, you know what, your girlfriend convinced me
to let you go.
And, we want to, was it always like, yeah, after you left, crime and, the pimping and the drugging and the murders haven't gone down at all since you've been in prison. I'm like, was he, what are you trying to say, man?
Right.
I don't know the depth of that statement, but I would have tied it into whatever he was doing. What happened after he left is like 100 times worse. So we get into like human trafficking. Yeah. We get into just like more murders. We get into just really bringing people down. It's almost like a warlord has moved in.
Right.
Right. So then, you know what? I can pull for Dolemite. Like, go get that motherfucker.
Yeah.
You know what? I mean, if you're going to go out pimping and dealing and doing your shit, and it's not affecting, you're not beating people down just because.
Right.
Well, that's better than this guy who's just like tearing shit up. Right. There wasn't a definitive. The
anti-hero has to be better than the villain.
Right. But there was no real clear protagonist. Willie Green. So I'm like, this little motherfucker just keeps like showing up, and, plus he's just like the mayor's bitch. So how tough can he be? Right.
I wasn't super into him as the villain. I think there was even one point where I think I wrote in my notes, I was like, I think Dolemite's going to go talk to him. Maybe. Is he still the villain?
Yeah.
Did the movie forget that he's supposed to be the villain? Because I kind of forgot that he's supposed to be the villain.
Yeah.
Not really sure what his role is in this movie.
No. There was an odd conversation at one point, too, where they were talking, and he's like, let's be partners. And, you're good at all the smackdown shit, getting the hose, moving the drugs, and I'm good at doing numbers. And clearly you aren't.
Right? He doesn't actually do anything in the movie that antagonizes Dolemite.
Other than he was the one who set him up, or had him set up, because he was there.
Right.
He was the one who was in the back of the car.
Sure.
It's done.
Yeah.
Okay. Because he wanted the club. But he gave that shit up super quick. Dolemite's like, that club is mine. Well, the Green's like, all right. The other thing that I knew they were going for, but didn't hit, was the name Dolemite was supposed to, from what I gathered, supposed to like strike fear in lesser men.
Oh.
Dolemite's back. Dolemite's back. That whole, it's just one name. And the way that they used it in certain conversations, I noticed, it's like, I get that you're trying to say, it's like, hey, Chuck Norris is coming to dinner. Fucking run. Right? If you're an anti-martial arts person, he is going to superfoot your shit to death. And nobody wants that. But nothing touched on that. We lost the power of, just started.
I didn't know there was supposed to be power behind his name.
Well, yeah, the whole thing on let everybody
that went
know
way over my head if they were attempting that.
If you were to watch it again and just listen to, and they're like just short little things I picked up in lines. It's like, I could see where this was supposed to be that mentioned the name and somebody pisses themselves, right? But that's where the big fail, plot missing aside, did not project Dolemite as a force to be reckoned with. And I don't mean like super strong. He didn't seem like overtly clever. He didn't seem like a mastermind of anything. It just like kind of like wandered onto camera, flapped his hands at people and they fell over.
It did
and swore a lot.
It did kind of just seem like everything happened around him and he didn't actually trigger anything that happened in the movie.
No.
So.
But it's like The Room. It's bad. I would watch it again.
Yeah.
If for no other reason, the music.
Well,
God
yeah.
Damn, I miss me some pure blood R&B.
And the wardrobes. Oh man, you know how I am about wardrobes in movies.
I do.
I live for them. And this movie, it just like tickled all my wardrobe bones that I fucking loved it.
Well, we're going to have to take up Dolemite Is My Name.
Yeah.
Because, the disaster artist was fucking brilliant.
I'm intensely interested in watching that movie.
Absolutely. Because this wasn't easy.
Oh, no.
This wasn't easy. And I was thinking about a lot of different scenes, like the one where he's walking out of a house. That was a nice neighborhood. Yeah. And what does that mean? In 1975, a nice neighborhood in LA was not full of people of any other ethnicity than white bread Americans. And to have a crew and a black man playing a main character shooting on the street, you have to know somebody had to fucking call the cops at least once on this. Because that is also all these kinds of films that you hear about done in the 60s and 70s. That's just like a standard thing. It almost makes me think, was there like a unspoken rule? Well, we'll shoot and shoot and shoot. When the cops show up, then we'll have lunch because they'll be here for fucking ever until we can get going again for no reason.
Right. Well, I always know when we watch these movies, I always know the mark of a movie that is an earnest effort, that it has heart somewhere in it.
Yeah.
Is one that I feel bad when I'm making these notes because I'm like, oh, they're really trying, and I know that they're really trying. It's just not good. You know what I mean? And so that feeling that I get when I'm writing notes like these, like, his complimenting him on his poetry is like complimenting a Vogon.
Right.
And I feel the little nugget of guilt in my heart for writing that, even though it's true. Mm-hmm. That's how I know that this movie, like, there is a heart in this movie.
Oh, yeah.
And that, to me, makes it good, even though it's bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of things you can get out of this, things we've talked about, but watching it, you can see it's not like they did a bunch of stuff wrong. They didn't follow through, or there wasn't enough of this one, like story, plot,
fight choreography.
Well, yeah, it is what it is. I mean, you either can afford to hire stunt people or you can't.
Right.
Right. Editing. This is a good example of how, what not to do with editing. I'll say that. That's probably the one not to do lesson. is just cold cut back and forth between stuff
Good
without
God.
any kind of indicator.
That's all it was just cold cut editing. There was
Yeah.
no art to the editing process.
No.
It looked like the rough cut.
Yeah, it is not the most visually appealing
No.
film. But yeah.
Except
You
the
know.
wardrobes.
Well, I mean, from an artistic sense,
Right.
cinematography. But yeah, it definitely is worth a shot. And a lot of films from those eras definitely worth looking at, because these are people who, we always say indie filmmakers go out and make your film, right? But these are examples of people doing just that with enormous obstacles.
And kind of paving the way and
Yeah.
setting the road,
Yeah.
the roadmap for the people who would come after to make fucking brilliant indie films.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. This is what you can do without having to sit down behind on the other side of someone's desk begging. Just go out and do it.
Well, because that's the thing. If I didn't already know that we can go out and make our own movies and do our own things, right? When you get a hold of these indie films, these little movies that didn't cost a lot of money to make, that even Dolemite, right?
Right.
Watching it would make me go, huh, I can do this.
Yep.
I mean, they can do this. That's not to say it's easy, because it isn't. It is hard.
Right.
But just, like being the person who is the first to do something like this. You know what I mean? That's incredibly important.
Yeah.
It's a huge milestone.
Well, just to be clear, Rudy's not the first.
Well, no.
But that's not what we're saying. But to even be in that front vanguard,
Mm-hmm.
paving the way, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, even after the civil rights movement, there was so much work to be done. Having a law in place doesn't normalize people's behavior.
No. But here's the thing about Dolemite and so many of the other films of its kind. It is what it is, and it's its own thing. Meaning, if you think back to like the 50s, people were like, oh, but we, there was like Little Richard, and we had, black musicians. Okay. They were made to straighten their hair, comb it over. They look just like white crooners.
Yeah.
Right? Only black skinned. And that was not what they were. And it took a while for them to be able to get to the point where I'm going to make my own fucking music. I'm going to sing how I want to sing. And I'm not going to do this, what would be the equivalent of, the top 40.
Right.
All the way from the 40s through the 50s and early 60s, right? We had people finally standing up saying, this is my kind of music. This is how I do rock and roll. This is how I do jazz. This is how I do all this shit. You know what? Fuck you.
Yeah.
You want to be a part of it? Move on, And then that all transcends into cinema. And cinema is important. We talk about movies because we have music and recordings, but cinema is a visual time capsule of the era in which it was made. And you can do that from like effects or costuming or props and stuff. But you can also, like, you watch Dolemite, there's no mistaking. That is 1975. Goddamn right it is.
Motherfucking right.
Every bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we recommend watching it.
Yeah.
Absorb it and think on it. If you have like an IP, if you have some sort of intellectual property that you want to expand on, develop that persona if that's what you're going for, right? Develop that character more than what you know them from.
Well,
Right.
I mean, more than their surface level quirks and foibles, essentially. They need to have depth.
Well, that's like so we have a folk tale. Won't say which one it is that we wrote a script about. And the biggest downfall of folk tales being made into movies is they just take, like if we did a Rumpelstiltskin. Well, clearly somebody went the horror route with that one.
Right.
Right. But there's been a few like PBS and, early 80s, like USA Network type of stuff, where they've made Rumpelstiltskin TV shows, miniseries, made-for-TV movies, and actually movies.
And they give him depth.
No, they don't. Since they all suck, because those ones just played on, the whole story of Rumpelstiltskin.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you don't get any more out of him than you would reading the story.
Well, yeah.
They don't, or they didn't build it up. It'd be like The Princess and the Pea. How are you going to write 120 pages if, all that bitch does is go lay on a pile of mattresses and go, there's a pea in here.
Right. There's nothing else. There's nothing more to that character in that story.
That's not even the length of a commercial.
Right.
Right.
So you've got to really, really dig into that character.
Well, and sometimes you have to take what you can of that character and have it influence and affect other people, which is kind of what we did. We went a roundabout way because the folk tale is still the folk tale.
Yeah.
Right. But sometimes it's like from an outer perspective.
Yeah.
Okay. But
how
you
does
have to
person affect those around them?
Right. But you have to be careful. It's not about that orbiting character. Right. It has to be about them just through their eyes. So you can do more. You can make a character more familiar to the audience, get them more in touch with him. Without all that depth, if you have somebody attributing their view, a simple interaction, a simple statement, how they react to it in whatever circumstance can save you like 5 pages of exposition.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about it in real life terms, your best friend can explain to a complete stranger better who you are than you would be able to explain to that stranger.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So looking at it through that viewpoint.
Mm-hmm. And that would have worked for Dolemite.
Mm-hmm.
But I think they still could have, fleshed him out and really just had a legendary character. But hey.
Here's my very final piece of advice. And really, it's not a piece of advice for filmmakers. It's just what I would have liked to see, my biggest change for this film. More Hamburger Pimp.
Yes. Should have his own series.
The world needs more Hamburger Pimp.
I love Hamburger Pimp. Oh, all right, folks. So that is Dolemite, 1975. Rudy Ray Moore.
Check it out.
Yes. While you're checking stuff out, why don't you check out our website?
www.lordsofmisrulproductions.com.
Everything is on there. All of our links, our podcast, our blog, social media links to our various platforms to subscribe, and a link to our Patreon. Also our email links so you can reach out to us.
Yeah. Say
what's going on. Let's do some talking because, hey, that's how we get some of these movies. It's how we have some of these great interviews because, we might want to talk to you.
Yeah.
Have you on the show. See what it is that you made or were a part of. We love it. Let's do it.
And if you like this podcast and you want to support us, check out our Patreon
People
page.
say it both ways. Potato.
Become a patron. This episode is because a patron suggested that we should watch this movie and cover it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so patrons get access to cool stuff.
Yeah.
You get early episodes. You get input on stuff that we cover.
Mm-hmm.
When we're able to get merch, you're going to get merch.
Yep.
All kinds of cool stuff. Check it out.
I think that'll do it. I think we covered everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm glad it was brought to our attention.
I am too.
And we're definitely going to be watching Dolemite Is My Name.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at Tommy right now on the wall.
I looked at him as we came into the room. So we have 2, because we've bought from his website a couple of times. We have 2 photos. One is signed to me, and it's the one on the outside of the door.
Yeah.
And then another one is just the same photo, but not signed.
Right.
And as I come into the room, every time I come into our little recording studio, I look at Tommy and the little note that he wrote on there. that love is blind. But, and it sounds weird, but it's inspiring.
Well, it is. It's, we talked about it in those episodes.
Yeah.
Or that episode about the room. It's the same thing we talk about here. Somebody went out and did something. Bam, bam, bam.
Yeah.
Be one of those people. Go out and do something. And if you already have, well, work on the next thing. Work on the next thing. Shit gets hard. Push through it.
Yeah.
All right. B-siders.
Until next week.
This is Jim.
And this is Danny.
And we'll be talking at you in about 7 days.
Just about.
All right.
Bye.